Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Stace Gaddy to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose, insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101. I'm Stace Gaddy, Angela Robinson in the house. Time to start talking about everything you need to know about financial planning and much, much more. Angela's coming to us, of course, from Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Stace. Happy to be on the show this morning. Very, very good topic. I wouldn't say fun topic today. We have a topic that is coming from a very heartfelt place. We're going to be talking about the power of attorney, what it does, why you need it, and how it could hurt you rather than help you. We've also got, as you know, two giveaways, as we always do on the show. First of all, I want to mention we've got our email address, lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com, and we want to encourage you to ask the questions that you want to have answered on the show. We are going to have an award each week for the best question, and I will tell you this, there is no dumb questions, because I promise you, if you have the question in your mind, someone else out there is thinking the same thing, and sometimes I go too fast. I may skip over something. I may not make sense. That happens a lot. So I want your questions. Please ask them. Lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. And this week, the best question is going to get a golf goodie bag filled with a lot of little trinkets for a golfer. Anything a golfer would love. I promise you, it's going to be real nice. And then we're going to have our trivia at the end of the show. And for that, we've got a box of warm, melt-in-your-mouth donuts to give away. So make sure you listen to the show intently, and that way you'll be able to answer this trivia at the end of the show. The first one we get in is going to get that box of melt-in-your-mouth donuts. So you don't want to miss that, I promise.
Angela, last week's trivia, what's the update?
Oh, yes. What is the number one threat to your retirement, right? Yourself. Big trivia, big answer, simple answer.
Did anyone win that one?
No, we didn't have a winner of the trivia. So, Stace, you should have.
I should have. I guess I'm ineligible, but I did remember that, so that you're doing your job well.
That's right.
Number
that's
one.
Right.
What was it? The number one obstacle?
Number one threat to your retirement
is yourself.
That's right. So, and we've, as I mentioned before, we've got a great show today. We're going to be going over the power of attorney, and I'm on a little bit of a soapbox about this, I guess, lately, because we've had some experiences lately that have been stressful, cumbersome, and at times just absolutely gut-wrenching, because when you have a situation and you care about the people you work with, it can really tear you up to see something happen that shouldn't be happening when it comes to the things that they wanted or they would never want done. And we've got a great story to share with you at the end of the show today, and we've got a lot of good information in between, so don't miss it.
Again, folks, you're listening to Life Planning 101. If you missed it last week, we're relaunching a program that they used to do here on the program, here on KATX. It wasn't KATX at that time. Anyway, brand new every Monday morning at 8:30, and then again a rebroadcast on KWBY at 9 a.m. on Saturdays. So you won't want to miss it. You want to keep tuned in. And Angela, what's the first thing you want to bring to mind today?
The first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the durable power of attorney, okay? And that durable power of attorney, a lot of people don't even know what that is. So I want to explain what that actually does. And a durable power of attorney isn't actually enforceable until it's enacted. So, and usually that enactment occurs because of some type of incapacitation, whether it be a mental incapacitation or a physical incapacitation or whatever it is. That's that durable power of attorney. And what it helps with is anything financial. Okay, so say you have a bank account and you get hit by a car and you're in a coma and you're not able to take care of your bills. You need somebody to be able to do that. That's what that durable power of attorney allows you to be able to do. So any financial institution would accept that durable power of attorney to be able to do things. Also, if you had to move into a facility and your home needed to be sold, that durable power of attorney could act on your behalf in those capacities. And you can list on there things that you don't want to have that durable power to have access to. However, that creates a lot of complications if you're incapacitated and something needs to be done. So it's an extremely important document. And, we always talk about we're going to have a potentially save your bacon tip of the week, right? Mm-hmm. And so here it is for this week, all right? Legal documents aren't just for dying. If you're 18 or older, you need a durable power of attorney, you need a medical power of attorney, you need an IRS power of attorney, and you possibly need a Social Security power of attorney as well as a directives to physicians. Pretty interesting. A lot of people think that because they are married, it works. Well, it doesn't. And when we come back, we're going to talk about why it doesn't and why you need it.
Very good. Do need to take a quick break. If you've just joined us, you're listening to Life Planning 101 with Angela Robinson from the good folks at Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland, talking about the power of attorney today. Always some interesting information. Going to check in with our sponsors. We'll be right back with more. Keep it right here. As always, a huge thank you to all of our sponsors. Welcome back into the program. I'm Stace Gaddy. Our guest, shouldn't really say guest because you are the woman. You are the guru. We're talking Life Planning 101 and Kennedy Financial Services, everything you need to know. So I need to think of what to call you because you're not really the guest. You're really... you're the person of the hour.
Yeah, I guess so. And speaking of guests, though, Stace, we actually have a great guest that's going to be on the show next week.
Okay.
My brother. He's going to be coming and joining us once a month, and he's going to give us a market update. Just so you're aware, he is a chartered financial analyst, and that is what the guys walking around in the big city of New York and on Wall Street carry to be able to manage the hedge funds and the mutual funds and the ETFs, and we're lucky enough to have him in the great city of Eastland, Texas. So,
yeah.
And he's wonderful. He loves to sit behind a computer every single day and just look and research and
watch
see what's
the
going
numbers.
on. That's right, and talk to analysts and talk to money managers all day long. So his information will be invaluable every month. You do not want to miss it. Trust me. So we look forward to having him on the show next week. So back to what we're talking about today, the power of attorney, because this is so important. First of all, we all need it. As I mentioned before the break, a lot of people are under the assumption if they're married that their spouse can just take care of these financial situations if something were to happen. Well, I want you to think about something because we've all had this happen. Have you ever, had a DirecTV or AT&T bill that you tried to call in for a spouse and they wouldn't let you talk on their behalf? You actually had to get that person on the phone and they had to give you permission to do so.
Yes.
Yes, happens all the time. That's exactly what we're talking about today. It doesn't matter whether you're married or not. If you're over the age of 18, you cannot not have a durable power of attorney because no one can act on your behalf, okay? On the flip side of that coin, though, it can hurt you, okay? It can hurt you not having one, especially if you have a court-appointed one. We actually encountered that situation. We had a client that came in, and I want to share this little short story because this is incredible. I couldn't even believe my ears when she was telling me what happened. She had a distant aunt, and they didn't even know that she was in a state of mental decline. And the court appointed her next-door neighbor as her durable power of attorney because that's who the court saw fit to be able to handle her affairs because they were right there. Courts, right. Well, needless to say, that aunt's entire estate was gone.
Wow.
Yes. So don't think by not doing it you're getting away from the risks because you really are. I mean, you're putting yourself at a big risk. But At the same time, whoever you name, you have to be extremely careful. The way I heard this once said, and we've had a situation this year with my grandmother. She's been put in a long-term care facility, and so we've been very familiarized with the situation this year itself. An attorney said that her daughter is in essence her. She has the ability to do financially whatever her mother would have done herself. So she could sell her house, she could buy a car in her name, she could move money into her own bank account, she could do whatever she wanted. In essence, she's her. So that's a really scary situation if you think about it, especially for those people that don't have an immediate family member to be able to trust. So I want to give you something to think about, and after we come back from this next break, I'm going to share with you a story on something that's happened to us recently of why this is so important. But the thing I want you to think about is when you name this person, you need to be thinking about, number one, do they have the competence to take care of my financial situation? Yeah, I mean, that's important, right?
Sure.
Can they make competent financial decisions? Okay, we all know that. Number two, do they have the ability to be humble enough to know when it's beyond their ability to go and seek help? That is so important. And I want you to think about why that might be important. Have you and whoever you're naming as that durable power of attorney lived the same life? Have you had the same experiences? So the investment choices or financial choices that you've made have not been the same as that other person. So they don't know why and where and how and all those things that you come from or what your intentions are. As a lot of times you still don't ask, don't tell about what you want to happen with your money. So that's extremely important for them to be able to know that they can ask for help. And number three is pretty simple. Do they have the integrity to do what you want them to do? If you can't answer yes to all three of those things, you don't need to name that person as a durable power of attorney. And when we come back from this short break, we're going to talk about why, in particular, in a particular situation, this is so important.
Keep it right here. We'll be right back. Life Planning 101. Angela Robinson, we are back.
Thank you very much, Stace. And like I mentioned, I want to share a story with you about how a power of attorney can actually hurt you rather than help you. And this is something that's happened to us recently. We've been working with a gentleman for almost 20 years. 1996 is when we started working with this gentleman, and I absolutely love him. He's just an outstanding guy. Lots of integrity, lots of character, been extremely active in his church since retirement and in his community. And it's been a true pleasure being able to help him with his retirement and encourage him to stay on track during all that time. And he's done a great job at it, been very successful. And these past few years, we'd actually been talking about, because he only has one relative, about where he wants his legacy to be laid out, because he has taken such good care of it, there was a significant amount left. And talking about those things, going in back into the community, back into the church, the things that were important to him and the things that he loves. And this all kind of came hand in hand when his health was starting to fail. He had several go-go years in retirement, and things were just not like they were. And then all of a sudden, we got a phone call one day, and it was from a gentleman that was claiming to be his power of attorney. And we didn't have anything on this gentleman. Now, this is somebody that we've been working with for 20 years and somebody we would call a right fit client. And anyone that works with us knows we are a stickler for having every single legal document someone has, because we want to know exactly when, where, what, how, why, and then we ask questions beyond that, because we want to be able to help guide that family in the best way possible, especially if something were to happen in a situation that someone needs help and they're grieving at the same time. So, we didn't have this guy anywhere in our records, never had him have mention of. And so we did our due diligence. We called a couple we called the family member, we called a couple of the friends, and we asked. And sure enough, it was legitimate. It was somebody that he was going to church with, and he had recently changed to his durable power of attorney. And it was he had a professional designation that we all know very well and would respect. So, to us, okay, nothing to worry about. I went down and sat down with him and the successor power of attorney, went through all of this gentleman's information with him so we could make a plan, because he was having to go into a facility. There was a lot of things that were transitioning. The house would need to be sold, this, that. We had a plan worked out and came back. And in any situation like this, we offer up everything. This is one of the things that we always preach upon. We call it surviving spouse service, surviving child service, whatever it is. We want to be there to handhold through this situation, because we know how intense this can be and how many decisions there are to be made. And so we offered to call the long-term care carrier, the insurance carrier that could be able to help them. We offered to call the facility to help with the budget, to help brainstorm with decisions, and in the end, it didn't matter. Our assistance was actually refused on every single occasion. Very odd for this to happen. Next thing we know, we start getting requests for significant amounts of dollars from this gentleman. 6 times the average cost of care in that area. 6 times the average cost of care in that area. If you calculated this up, it would deplete her assets at this rate in less than 2 years. And like I said, she had a significant sum of money. We still don't know if it was something that he was taking for himself, or if it was something that just he was being what we call neglectful of doing his due diligence like he should, because he had a fiduciary responsibility, which is the highest of highest responsibilities as a durable power of attorney, to do the right thing. But here's the real hard facts about this. Our hands were absolutely tied. We could do nothing. We talked to a legal team. What can we do? They said, well, you can request statements of where the money's being spent, but you can't do anything. You can't tell anybody. You can't do anything. All you could do would be to fire this client and turn him into, elder abuse. That's it. And that's to the extent. So somebody we've worked with for 20 years had everything to a T drawn up, and somehow last minute that durable power of attorney changed to a different person, and this has all happened.
Wow.
It is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cannot tell. I lost.
It's criminal.
It is. I actually went to a chamber board meeting, and Trent Swearingen at the bank told me right afterwards, he said, are you okay? Because I think, and Stacey, you're wearing a pretty red shirt today. I mean, my face was the color of your shirt.
Wow.
After I gotten off the phone with him at one point, and I said, no, I said, I'm not. And I, explained what was happening. And he was telling me about the ungodly amount of reporting they do every single month on elder abuse. Mm-hmm. It just made me sick, to hear that this situation was going on. So this durable power of attorney is nothing to snuff at.
Right.
I mean, it's something you really need to consider. And if you don't have options for it, you do have options for it. A lot of people aren't aware that there are people, professional people that you hire that know that rely on that fiduciary responsibility, because if they don't take it, then they're out of the industry, they're out of a job. But they actually take that as a role, as a professional role. And I think it is so important. Even now more than anybody, if you just name somebody, if you just I kind of think I can trust them. But remember those 3 things we talked about, how important those are. Number 1, do they have the competence? Number 2, can they be humble enough to know when it's above their pay grade to ask for help? And number 3, do they have the integrity to do it the way you would want it to be done, not the way that they would want it to be done?
Right.
Because I know in this situation, this gentleman, he would never want this amount of money, even if it's legitimate, to be spent on his care. Never. 6 times the normal cost of care. And just to kind of give you an idea of cost of care, in our area, that's $3,000 to $4,000 a month. So, that's a lot of chunk of change coming out. So that's really big. So, I think that's something we can all take away from today is take a double take at your legal documents. Make that a point over this next month, over this next week. It's your homework, so to speak. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got 2 giveaways today. First of all, best question. We've got that golf goodie bag, lots of little trinkets in it. So make sure you submit your questions, life planning at kennedy-financial.com. And then our trivia for today, all right, is again, we want to make sure that you know it is being able to get that warm, melt in your mouth box of donuts. So you want to be able to reply to this for sure. But our trivia today, I'm not going to go that far back in our story. I'm going to actually ask you, how many years had we been working with the gentleman that was taken advantage of in the power of attorney session? And the reason I want to ask that is I think that is so important for people to realize that even if you are working with somebody, you think you've got everything lined out, it can still go very wrong. So I gave you a big hint there. You should have no problem with that piece of trivia for today.
Now, for questions and to answer the trivia, same email?
Yes.
Okay.
lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. And don't forget, next week we have got a wonderful show. I am so excited to have my brother on the show now. He may not be as excited as I'm excited, but he is going to, I promise you, it will be invaluable. You do not want to miss his market update for next week.
Fantastic. Life planning at kennedy-financial.com. Life planning at kennedy-financial.com. And folks, don't forget, if you missed the program, go to our website, katxradio.com, and go to the Life Planning 101 page. You'll see it there, all the information you need. You can learn a whole lot more about Kennedy Financial Services and Angela Robinson. 106 South Seaman Street here in Eastland, 106 South Seaman, 629-3863, 629-3863 for more information. We actually will post the program in its entirety, and you can either listen to it or you can read the corresponding article, so you won't want to miss it. We're out of time for today, but we will see you again next Monday. Angela Robinson.
Thank you, Stace. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through VSR Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisor and member of FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services is not owned or controlled by VSR Financial Services Incorporated.